Hello, and today we are going to talk about how the NBA works. So, for all those of you who want to follow basketball but always get confused with the system of NBA, this video is for you. Stay tuned, this is going to be a very informative video. Speaking about the league structure, there are 30 teams in total, out of which 29 teams are based off in US and one team is from Canada, which is the Toronto Raptors. So these 30 teams are divided into two, into Eastern Conference and Western Conference. It is basically divided into the map structure. And each of these conference, that is Eastern Conference, has three subdivisions and Western Conference has three subdivisions. So in total, there are six subdivisions, and each division has five teams. So this is the league structure. And speaking of the NBA season breakdown, NBA is usually from October till June. So preseason, which is early of October, teams play a few exhibition games to test the lineups and give new players experience. And this doesn't count towards the official records of the stats. And the regular season begins from October till April. So every team plays 82 games in total per year. So 41 games will be home games and 41 games will be away. And teams play other teams in their divisions 4 times, and other teams in their conference 3 to 4 times, and teams in other conferences 2 times. I hope this is clear. So, the entire goal of the regular season is to win as many games as possible to secure a high playoff seed. Seed is basically their position in the points table. And in the play-in tournament, this was introduced in 2021 to bring more attention and more media coverage towards this. This takes place after the regular season and before the playoffs. So in each conferences, the teams ranked. So only 8 teams from each conference can qualify to play in the playoffs. So the first 6 are directly qualified into the playoffs, but the teams ranked from 7 to 10 play for the 7th and 8th position of the playoff seeds. So the format of this game will be the 7th team and the team in the 7th position and the team in the 8th position play a game, and the winner of this game will earn the 7th position in the playoffs. And there's a match between 9th and 10th team, and the loser is eliminated. And the winner, since they are in the last two positions, has to play another match with the loser of the 7th and 8th game. So basically, if you are in the 7th or 8th position, whether if you win, you directly qualify into the playoffs. If you lose, you still get a second chance to play a game with the winner of the 8th, 9th and 10th. So that's the advantage. But whereas the loser of the 9th and 10th will be eliminated directly. So the loser of the 7th and 8th will compete against the winner of 9th and 10th, and the winner of this game is selected into the 8th seed. So speaking of the NBA playoffs, this is one of the most popular, most viewed duration of the NBA games. So NBA playoffs is usually from April to June. That is during this time. Playoffs are going on right now. So there are 16 teams in total, 8 from each conference. So basically those teams which are selected are into this playoffs, and best of 7 series format is how it is played. So whichever team wins the first 4 moves on. So the rounds will be split into first round, conference semifinals, and conference finals. So how this happens is that first round there are 8 teams per conference. So the matchup will be between the first and 8th team. So like if you arrange it from 1 to 8, so they will select the first, like from first and from last. So 1 and 8 will be paired, 2 and 7 will be paired, 3 and 6 will be paired, and 4 and 5 will be paired. So these will be the matchups, and the best there it will be a best of 7 series. So the first team to win 4 game will advance, and if there is a higher seed, uh, you get home court advantage. So game 1, 2, 5, and 7 will be at home. So this the purpose of this is to reduce 8 teams into 4 teams. So now these 4 teams, right, go into the conference semifinals or the second round. The 4 remaining teams in each conference will participate in this. So it will be based on fixed bracket. That is, if the first seed wins their series and so does fourth seed, they face each other. It doesn't matter based on seeding. So seeding is nothing, it's just the position in the table. So format, again, it is best of the 7 series. And yes, those who have a higher seed, those who have a higher position in the points table, get a home court advantage. So if team A is in first position and team B is in the fourth position, A and B face each other in a game. Since A is in a better position in the table, the match will be held in their home, in A's home ground. So the purpose of this is to cut 4 teams into 2. So now these 2 teams from each conference will participate in the conference finals. So the winner of these conference final will be declared as the Eastern Conference champion and the Western Conference champion. So this is the final part of the entire NBA. And now after all this, we go into the mega league, the final moment that everyone has been waiting for, which is the NBA finals. So the NBA finals is best of 7 games between the Eastern champion and the Western champion. And whoever wins this will be crowned as the NBA champion. And finals MVP is awarded to the best performing player in the series. So speaking of the NBA draft, that is like auction, like how teams select their players. This happens in the month of June. So 60 players are selected over 2 months, and draft is order is influenced by a lottery system. So worst teams that performed in the previous season have a better odds of getting early picks. This is to encourage a competitive balance. That is, if you remember, out of 16 16 teams, only 8 teams will qualify, right? So 6 teams will directly qualify, and the next 4 teams will have to do the play-ins, and the 2 will qualify, and the other 8 teams are just straight off upright disqualified, right? So these 8 teams who got disqualified in the beginning itself, that is after the league is over, get and have an edge when it comes to an NBA draft in the next season. It's just to encourage a competitive balance. So there's something called free agency in July, where players whose contracts expire can sign with any team. Team negotiate contracts under the salary cap system. And the next is called trade. So teams can exchange player, they can pick drafts or cash, and but during this trade, the teams should make sure that they comply with salary cap rules to ensure fairness. So what is the salary cap system? Which basically prevents rich teams from hoarding all the talent. So teams have a limit on the total number of total player salaries. There are some exceptions which allow teams to exceed the cap under specific conditions, but mostly it is pretty rigid. So like, what do we get apart from the NBA champion? There are also some other recognitions and awards. So individual award wise, we'll have something called MVP, that's the most valuable player. Rookie of the year, like if there is a new player, like a player who's playing for the first time in NBA that year, who played the best, will get this award. And defensive player of the year, sixth man of the year, and coach of the year. So apart from this, when we see about teams, there's something called All-Star Weekend, which happens in the month of February, if I'm not wrong. So during this season, so they showcase with All-Star game, and there's a 3-point contest, slam dunk contest, and there are skill challenges. So this is about NBA, and yeah, I hope you had a clear picture about what NBA is all about. Thank you.